research that I've done, interestingly, came out of an eruption, a hiatus, if you wish, in my own sense of being. I had a spiritual crisis when I was living in a Buddhist monastery. A good friend who inspired me to take it seriously and not collapse fully. I did collapse, but I squirmed through the experience. And there's a point to this, because I realized then that too much thinking about what I was trying to do didn't help. Too much meditation when I was in that crisis amplified the distress. And it was a very difficult time. And so I did things. I did a bit of watercolor painting. The front cover of my book is a painting I did from at that time, in that crisis. I started connecting with the British Trust for Conservation Volunteers and went out and worked in nature, in ecology, and started to feel a bit better when I was working in the land. And so I was doing things like that, bits of reading, and so physical work. And I then got my vocation. I then trained to be an occupational therapist. I realised that doing had helped me enormously, so I thought, this is really interesting. So I became a therapist, and then I started to think about some further studies for the PhD. I realised that we're doing it, and we're creating our lives, we're co-creating our existence. And there's something, the scales fell from my eyes, and I thought, this is really taking me into new territory as part of my ongoing understanding. This post-Cartesian viewpoint, which is, we've been very embedded in this, I think, therefore I am, and it's determined a lot of the ways that we reference ourselves as beings. And because of the concept of autopoiesis, I took another viewpoint. I thought, well, hang on, if doing is that important and that central, surely that's got to be a bit of the spark for how we evolve. So that's where it becomes important to me. I do, therefore I evolve, is connected to something almost at the most microscopic level of who we are, and connects us outwards to something more macroscopic. So, I do, therefore I evolve, I believe, has got massive potential for really creating new discourses, new understanding, new narratives for how we share a co-creation and an impulse for co-creation together. Not necessarily focusing primarily on being, but thinking, what can we do and who are we in that doing?